like this original cable. Fantastic. There's more of the cable there. There must be meters upon thousands of meters of cable.
Walking in history, counting our steps. Walking in history, fun and learning for all. Walking in history, have fun.
Welcome to the channel. I'm walking down the lane to the Cable and Wireless Museum at Porthcurno.
Porthcurno International Telegraph Station of Cable and Wireless was the St. Leven Patrol's target, as it housed a vital centre of communications, station of cable and wireless. With 14 working cables running worldwide, it was the most important cable station in the empire, and therefore would have been heavily defended, and it's probable that it was high up on an invading forces list of targets to capture.
We're going to go down onto the beach and explore where the cables go and where the cables are going. This during the war was very much essential for the British cause. Also it was an important thing if Germany invaded, because this is where the communications that here at Porthcurno go all over the world.
Porthcurno is a small village in the parish of St. Leven in a valley on the south coast of Cornwall. It is approximately 9 miles west of the market town of Penzance and about 3 miles from Land's End, the most westerly point of the Cornish mainland. Access by road is only available from the north end of the valley along an unclassified spur road off the B3283. The village has a delightful, quiet, sandy beach sheltered by the high cliffs on either side. Up on the cliffs is found a wonder of Cornwall, the Minnock Theatre, an open-air amphitheatre cut into the rock of the cliff which is used for productions each year. The name Porthcurno is from the Cornish language. Porthcurno means port, or bay, of Cornwall. Today there is some evidence of early commercial port activity from the remains of man-made stone tracks for horse-drawn vehicles which may have provided access to the beach, visible on one of the footpaths near the south side of the car park ascending the east side of the valley.
So it's momentous to the Germans and to the British as well. As we approach, you see the Porthcurno and the library. This is the library in front, and this is Porthcurno Discovery, World War II bunker. At the start of World War, Porthcurno was considered vulnerable to attack, and the entire telegraph station was moved underground into this secret bunker. Construction grew expertise from Britain, including miners from Manchester, heavy drill operators from London, local team miners from St. Just, labourers from Penzance. The underground telephone station was housed in 2 tunnels reaching up to 46 metres into the hillside and was completed in just 9 months. The secret station became operational in May 1941, with each entrance protected by blast-proof steel doors and guarded by military police. So that gives you an indication, viewers, of what it was like. And this is a little bit where it says secret Porthcurno. Will you please note it has been decided to build a bomb-proof shelter at Porthcurno and to install therein certain apparatus. All exposures in connection with the subject should be charged in special amount. Porthcurno emergency amounts. As you can see, it was very much heavily fortified, and I believe they had even machine guns. They had, and if I just creep over there a minute, that's the radio shack and hut, and there is part of the tunnel. It is an absolute monstrosity of a place. They used to have big flamethrowers on the front to protect it. Man, that must... Well, as I depart the cable and wireless station here at Porthcurno, I'm going to lead you down to the beach.
The cable office at Porthcurno was a critical communications center and considered at serious risk of attack during the Second World War, being only about 100 miles from the port of Brest in occupied France. To improve security, a network of 2 parallel tunnels, connected by 2 smaller cross tunnels, was bored into the Granite Valley east side by local tin mining laborers, starting in June 1940, to accommodate the essential telegraph equipment. Each of the 2 main entrances was protected by offset and double bomb-proof, gas-proof doors. To provide evacuation for staff in case the defenses failed, a covert emergency escape route was provided by granite steps cut into a steeply rising 5th tunnel leading from the rear cross tunnel to a concealed exit in the fields above. Each of the main tunnel interiors was that of a windowless open-plan office constructed as a building shell within the granite void, complete with a pitched roof to collect water seepage from the rocks, a false ceiling, plastered and decorated walls, and all the necessary services. In total, about 15,000 tons of rock were removed to construct the tunnels. The construction work progressed relentlessly day and night, taking nearly a year, and the completed tunnels were opened in May 1941 by Lady Wilshaw, who was the wife of Sir Edward Wilshaw, chairman of Cable and Wireless at the time. The concrete defenses around the tunnel entrances and the nearby buildings were camouflaged with the help of a local artist, the design, when viewed from the air with some imagination, resembling a belt of trees, complete with rabbits and birds. The tunnel environment, being secure, dry, and at a virtually constant temperature, proved to be ideal for the sensitive telegraph equipment, and it continued to house the subsequently upgraded equipment after the war until the cable office closure in 1970. It was then used for training facilities for the engineering college until the college itself also closed in 1993. Today the tunnel is both an exhibit itself and houses exhibits of the Porthcurno Telegraph Museum, operated by PK Trust, a charity formed by Cable and Wireless Limited,
where there are 14 working cable running the worldwide. If the Germans attacked Porthcurno, the communications with the outside would be severe and severed. I go left here, and this is on the way to the beach. It's all different in the 1940s. Nobody would have lived around here. They would have had people. Porthcurno was heavily defended by over 300 troops. And was guarding the area. It was quite a formidable force. Like I said before, if you had to come into Porthcurno, you would have to have a permit or pass to be admitted, and the whole structure of this was to protect the building and the communications that the Brits, us British, needed to. So it was very much a heavily fortified place, And if I turn around, I could see, as you can see the Museum of Global Communications, the actual building. I presume wasn't there during the war, but behind it, where the camouflage is, that was the actual station, heavily fortified.
The Cable Station and Engineering College. Porthcurno is unusually well known for its size because of its history as a major international submarine communications cable station. In the late 19th century, the remote beach at Porthcurno became internationally famous as the British termination of early submarine telegraph cables, the first of which was landed in 1870, part of an early international link stretching all the way from Britain to India. Porthcurno was chosen in preference to Falmouth because of the reduced risk of damage to the cables caused by ships' anchors in the busy port. In 1872, the Eastern Telegraph Company, ATC, Limited was formed, which took over the operation of the cables and built a cable office in Porthcurno Valley.
So I lead yourself to the beach, and there's a gentleman called Mr. Bell, who was the proprietor of the Cable and Wireless. He was there in case of the invasion. He was the one being the last man out. He would have to blow the whole communications up so that it didn't come into the German. As I walk across the car park, just down from Cable and Wireless, I think during the war, this wasn't here, it'd probably be a field or woodland, camouflaging the entrance to the building at Cable and Wireless. It was Marconi who was the inventor of the telephone, and he is the actual one that delivers. Now I want to show you something over here that I've seen. And can you see in front, like telegraph poles? That is what most of the communications would have gotten on by, would have stood by. They would have been poles apart and wires strung across, so that was communications. So down here, as we walk down to the beach, there you go, and that's the Porthcurno. They don't like you having no barbecue fires or overnight camping are permitted, so we'll just take a nice little walk down to the beach and see what we can see. If you come down here, I don't know really, it's maybe okay for disabled people. If you've got a wheelchair, it might be a bit rough, but with these on-terrain wheelchairs, I think it could cope with it easily. You've got little walkways where you can explore more. It's late afternoon in Cornwall. You've got seating for people. The sheer ruggedness of this place could be immense during World War II. Nobody allowed on the beaches. Place to be evacuated. And there'll be more troops here than civilians. As you can see, this is a coast, access to the beach in two ways. Let's take this one. See, there's access to the beach, and we'll try and find some cables that are laid bare from the position. As you can see in the foreground on my right, there is a pillbox where defensive positions were built. Yes, if you come down here this way, I think it's not accessible to wheelchairs or the disabled. It is very much a bit of a steep incline down to the beach, and I've got adequate footwear on and I'm sliding everywhere, so I'm going to hold on to the rope. Right, as you can see, this is where all the cables would go out, all 14 of them. We'll leave the beach because it's now getting a bit nippy, and we're going to walk up a different way to the way we came down onto the beach, and we hope that we will find some exposed cables. At the top you've got lifeguard station by the piping, and it's this Radio Shack, which is the museum. This is the cable hut, and this is where the cables, this simple structure is a cable hut for historic Porthcurno telephone station, and is a Grade 2 listed building. It contains the largest selection of original telegraph cables and termination boxes in a single place, and is the earliest surviving intact cable hut in England. Porthcurno was once home to the largest telegraph station in the world. The first telegraph cable to come ashore here was landed by cargo ship inventors in 1870 and connected to Britain to India. Absolutely marvellous. And as you can see, there's a cable going out off the ground. I wonder what else is around this building. This is during World War II. It was most important to the British and to the war effort, and to Churchill himself. And as you can see here, cable that came out of the station and underground and down the cliff, down the beach, meters under, and runs right out to sea. But like this original cable, fantastic. There's more of the cable. There. There must be meters upon thousands of meters of cable, and as we come back around to the front, this is more cable. Yes, the cable built in 1929. This is the modest building. Is there? Is where undersea telegraph cables came ashore from all corners of the world. It is the only one of its kind complete with the visual features and fittings, and contains the largest collection of historic telephone cables and termination boxes in the world. Absolutely fantastic. This place was very, very important during World War II, and therefore helped Britain combat the German threat. Right, what we have here is, viewers, is the Porthcurno Lifeguards Station.
Porthcurno's RNLI history began in 1867 with the establishment of a lifeboat station to address frequent shipwrecks in the area, and the station closed in 1940, reopening temporarily during World War II and then in 1965 as an inshore lifeboat station. Here's a more detailed look at Porthcurno's RNLI history, establishment and early years. The Porthcurno RNLI station was established in 1867 following several wrecks in the vicinity. Location and purpose. The station was established to provide cover between Falmouth and Mevagissey. Closure and reopening. The station closed in 1940, but temporarily reopened during World War II, 1940 to 1945, and then reopened permanently in 1965 as an inshore lifeboat station in a new location. Medal record. 11 medals have been awarded to the Porthcurno station, including 2 gold, 5 silver, and 4 bronze medals, with the last one being awarded in 2006.
And Porthcurno lifeguards, beware of the strong undercurrents, beware of tides, beware of falling rocks, do not climb cliffs, beware of large breaking waves, beware of surfers, beware of deep shelving beach. This is very, very much in depth, and as you see, in case of emergency, all the possibilities of exposed telephone cables above and below the waterline, risk of tripping, entanglement and injury from broken wires when using the beach or bathing. So in a way, this is Porthcurno. This is no honour in any other life, but God's patrol this beach. As you can see, over the beach. If you like this video, consider sharing. Thumbs up, right on!
Walking in history, step by step. Walking in history.